Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review and a demo of this foundation by NYX Cosmetics, which is called the Born to Glow Naturally Radiant Foundation. My shade is in beige. I colour matched myself from using online swatches. Is what I tend to do a lot of the time when I can't be bothered to go to the shops, which I could do because the NYX is stocked in quite a few places in the UK. I actually got mine online from Boots, as on Black Friday they were doing 20% off. So instead of the £10 which it normally costs, which is still very affordable, it cost £8 for me. Now altogether there are 45 shades, which is absolutely excellent, and as always I'm kind of smack bang right in the middle. My shade Beige is described as medium beige with warm undertones. Well, I have warm undertones and I'm beige, I suppose. So. And altogether there are 1 fluid ounces, 30 ml, which is the standard amount for a lot of foundations. To be honest, this is definitely one of the more affordable foundations when it comes to NYX Cosmetics. They've got a variety of price points within their range. So this one I would definitely say is incredibly affordable. So I'm just going to read what their description is off of their website before I let you know what my thoughts are. The brand new Born to Glow Naturally Radiant Foundation is so glorious. Available in an inclusive range of 45 truly flattering shades, our covetable formula delivers buildable medium coverage and a naturally radiant finish that lasts. This liquid foundation blends like a dream and even works with your skin to help create a smooth, even toned look. Turn up the luminosity with our other Born to Glow must-haves. I don't have any other Born to Glow must-haves with me, but okay. So very simple, straightforward. It says that it is a buildable medium coverage foundation, which I would definitely agree with. It is definitely more medium to full coverage, I would say, but as they have obviously said themselves, it is buildable. So it's all down to personal preference as to how much coverage you want to have. Depends on what your natural skin type is like. If you're like me, I've got scarring, I've got pigmentation, I've got textured skin, I've got random breakouts, I've actually got rosacea, which I'm suffering from for the past few months, trying to deal with it, but I need foundations that can cover that, because you can see here my chin is a little bit red. You can see the side of my nose is a little bit red, and also when you've got rosacea you also get dry skin on top of it. So I've also got dry skin. It's more so the dry skin is quite bad around my nose rather than on my chin, and I would definitely say that if I build it up, this covers it beautifully, and it has a naturally radiant finish that lasts. Again, I would say that, yep, it definitely has got a very naturally radiant look to the skin. It's got a slight glow to it. Despite the fact that it's called Born to Glow, I was very pleasantly surprised in the way that it performs on my skin. I've got normal to combination skin, which means my T-zone area tends to get shiny fairly quickly, and a lot of more dewy, glowy kind of foundations don't always work well for me, because as the oils throughout the day start to come out in my skin, I start to get oilier a lot sooner, and also the product starts to separate on my face, and it's not a good look. Liquid foundation, yep, that blends like a dream completely. It blends beautifully, it blends evenly. There's no patchiness, there's no flakiness, there's no cakiness. It doesn't look overly done. It actually looks really nice on the skin to help to create a smooth, even toned look. Again, I agree with every single one of their claims. Personally, I think this is an excellent foundation. I was genuinely surprised when I wore this. Now, I will be honest with you guys, I've actually been wearing this with no primer. And I feel really kind of stupid because recently, very recently, I put up a video of mine, which is my top favourite primers. And then I actually realised that my skin seems to perform a lot better with foundation when I don't have primer on it. However, for the purposes of the video and because I'm using a NYX product, I thought I'd use the NYX Honey Dew Me Up primer. This is not a silicone based one, this is more of an aqua based one, and it works really nicely with this foundation, which is also an aqua based foundation, meaning that it is water based rather than silicone based, which is what a lot of the other heavier, more full coverage foundations can be like. The amazing thing about this foundation, after 12 hours my skin still looked amazing. It's called Born to Glow Naturally Radiant. You know, it doesn't say that it's got a specific kind of finish, so it doesn't say that it's matte, semi-matte, dewy or anything like that, but I'm just going by the way that it's been described. After 12 hours, you guys, I'd been at work all day. I came home, I was chilling out, I was watching TV, I was eating food, I was doing whatever. I had not moved on my face whatsoever. It had barely got a hint of shine to it. It was only after about maybe hour 18 that it started to separate around my chin area and again around the T-zone slightly, but nothing that powder would not fix. This gets a 10 out of 10 from me. It's been It's been a minute since I've had a foundation which I genuinely really love, and I love the fact that it is so affordable and is so excellent as well. I hate a lot of the times that a lot of us beauty consumers out there have to pay extra money for a better product. There's no reason why in this day and age we can't have amazing products at an affordable price, and this is definitely one that I would recommend. It's absolutely excellent. I'm genuinely really happy with it. The colour match beige is perfect for me. I've got no tan going on whatsoever, and I really think this is an excellent foundation. Now, it does tend to cling to the dryness around my nose. Again, like I said, rosacea is not like a normal dry skin. It's really weird. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. It does not accentuate the texture on my skin. It covers up the redness, it covers up the scarring. My face looks naturally radiant. Sometimes overly matte foundations can make us look very unnatural. Nobody's skin is naturally matte, so looking naturally radiant is exactly what you want to look like, because you want it to be like your skin but so much better, and that's the reason why it looks naturally radiant rather than unnaturally radiant. I don't know. Anyway, so like I said, first off we are going to apply the Honey Do Me Up primer. The brush I'm going to use for this foundation is my Real Techniques buffing brush. I would personally prefer a brush like this to use because it is quite a liquidy foundation, so it glides a lot easier if the bristles on your brush are a lot more spread out. I think more denser brushes are better for thicker and stick kind of foundations. You can use a beauty blender if you want, but I personally choose not to do so because I like to have the extra coverage. Alright, now that that is on my face and I'm letting it dry a little bit, it tends to get a little bit tacky, so I'm just pressing it into my face. I'm a little bit red now because I've been rubbing my face. It just happens with my kind of skin. Okay. So I'm probably going to use 2 fairly generous squirts on each side of my face. I tend to go all out when it comes to foundation. I don't need to see any marks. I don't need to see any redness. I don't need to see anything. If I've got foundation on, there's a reason. I want everything covered. Okay, so here we go. This is one layer all over the face. As you could see, I was a little bit generous with how much I applied, but that's because I personally tend to prefer a little bit more coverage. Here you can still see my beauty spot very visible. That should just give you some indication of what one layer of coverage this is like. You can see that a little scar that I've got there, which is a spot that I had, which has now left a mark. You can still see it slightly. Same here, a little bit of a spot, the scar that it left behind, the blemish that it left behind. But overall, it really nicely evens out the face. I don't look so red anymore. The rosacea on my chin is pretty much covered, and a little bit on the side of my nose as well, so it's not so obvious that it's there. So what I'm going to do is, as I always do, apply a little bit extra to the stubborn points, which are my cheek areas, and obviously now it's my nose. It didn't used to be, but, and I have to cover the whole nose, not just one side of it, because I'll just look a bit lopsided. So I'm just going to push it into the skin just to give a little bit extra coverage. So now I would say that this has been built up a little bit more to full coverage. It doesn't quite make it to full coverage, but close enough. And a little bit more on this side, just to even it out. It blends so nicely and evenly. I don't tend to apply too much on my forehead because I don't have any marks, blemishes or anything, thankfully, in that one area. So I don't need to cover up as much as I do on other parts of my face. So there we have it. As 1.5 layers. You can see it sits nicely on the face. It is still tacky because it needs to be set. I'm just, for the purposes of the video, going to be setting it with the NYX HD finishing powder in Banana. It's a baby one, and I'm just going to use that to set everything, because you do need to set this foundation if you want it to last longer. Here you can see as well, in terms of the colour, it's got a generous amount of yellow in it, and I've got very warm, very yellow undertones. So I am going to finish off the rest of my makeup, and then I will come back and finish off the review so you guys can see what it looks like once it's completely complete, and just so you guys can see what it looks like once it's set and the rest of the makeup is done. Okay, I am back and the rest of my makeup is now complete. on my lips. I thought, again, NYX video, so I'll wear NYX lipstick. It's one of the soft matte lip creams in the shade Madrid. This is definitely my favorite, like, deep red shade from NYX's soft matte lip creams. I actually really love their soft matte lip creams. They're so comfortable. Anyway, so as you can see, it all looks lovely. It's all been set. It doesn't feel sticky. It feels quite soft, not quite like velvet. Like I can still feel slight tackiness, but only a little bit. Generally, and I'll be honest, between you and me, I normally use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder, and my shade is in medium, but I didn't today because, as I said, I'm doing a NYX video, so I wanted to use mostly NYX products. However, the banana shade has set it quite nicely. As you can see, the colouring looks great, matches my neck nicely. It looks naturally radiant, as they have said, and it performs beautifully. Considering that it's not mentioned to be a long-lasting foundation, it actually lasts really long and definitely competes with a lot of the more higher end foundations out there, and it performs better than those ones as well. So can you imagine a 30-odd pound foundation compared to this one, which cost me £8? Absolutely excellent. So overall, like I said, I give this a 10 out of 10. It's an absolutely gorgeous foundation. It's covered my rosacea nicely as well. I can't see any marks and stuff like that. Now that I've set it with the powder and everything else, it's been given a little bit of additional coverage. However, now this is going to remain looking this flawless up until I remove it later on this evening. So overall, I cannot recommend this foundation highly enough. It's absolutely gorgeous. And on that note, I hope you guys are wonderful and great. Like, comment, make sure you subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are. If any of you have tried this, let me know how your experience were. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, day, morning, whatever time of day it is you're watching this, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.